My name is Lucy and welcome to 20’s YouTube channel. So today I am anchoring on our channel, not really, but anyways, we are going to be talking to you today about something really important and really interesting. It's the things you should do in your 20s as a lady. Now, we all know, I think the 20s is a very chaotic period in everybody's life. It's like time for hustling, bustling, and it's filled with a lot of excitement, a lot of worries, anxieties, and all that. So that's the reason why I'm doing these videos, like a roadmap to guide you what to do in your 20s. What are those skills, what are those things you need to improve on to help you have the best time in your 20s. Stay tuned.
Guys, you've met Lucy already, so this is actually my friend from campus. Like, if you've been watching my previous videos, you'll see that we actually studied at the University of Dundee. So, do you want to introduce yourself, Lucy?
Okay, she has said my name many times, but my name is Lucy Jideofor. I'm currently...
Adego.
I didn't know how to pronounce the name very well. My name is Lucy Adego Jideofor. I'm from Nigeria and I am currently 24, going on 25 in 9 days.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyways, I'm from Enugu State, but I lived majority of my life in Kaduna. I schooled at Afepapalala University, and I came here in 2023, so going on 1 year actually.
Yeah, that's true, absolutely. So today's video, we just want to generally talk about like things you should do. So this is for videos for younger people, perhaps in 19 years old or all the way from 20 upwards. If you're seeing this video, please share it to your friends, your family members, and please stay tuned. We have 10 points to talk about that has helped us come this far. And if it's what you're looking out for, please like, please share, and please subscribe.
Welcome back. So now heading up to the list of things you should do in your 20s. I think one of the most important things is to make meaningful connections. It's a period of your life where you have to network. You can't just be up to yourself in your 20s because, I mean, you can say you have your 30s, 40s, but that's the time that you should have already done these things. And the time for that is in your 20s. So making meaningful connections is one of those things. And how do you do that? I think the best way to describe it is putting yourself out there. Go out, leave the house, talk to people. Now this is something I came to realize really late because I was so into being an introvert. I didn't really have time in my early 20s, but I'm still in my early 20s. But in my earlier 20s to make like those deep connections, and it was really difficult because when I got to Dundee, Scotland, you know what you're not used to, it doesn't just spring up on you. You can't suddenly become that friendly person wanting to hang out all the time. So it took time, you know, meeting people, introducing yourself, you know, trying to just get out there, know people. And this is a place where you really need connection. If not, you will stay in your house with nothing to do. So you really want to get out there in your 20s. You want to, you know, if someone calls you, are you up for this? You don't tell it, I think I rather watch movies, or I think I just rather stay indoors. If you can, go out, because you don't know who you are meeting out there. You don't know the impacts they can bring into your life. You don't know where you can meet them the next time. Even sometimes you don't necessarily have to just think of what does this person bring to my life. Not really, not all the time. At some point, you just want to be out there first, get to know this person first, and then you can figure out the rest of it along the way. So I'm resounding it again. Make connections, network with people, network with your peers, network with those above you, even those below you, because every knowledge is, we don't have it all. So someone that you feel is below you can actually teach you something you have no idea about. So get to meet people, talk meaningful conversations. I think that part is very important because you see a gathering of people and everything they are saying is just, it doesn't make sense. So you want to connect with people that, you know, they share your ideas, they share your vision, even those that don't, but it's something that you find interesting, activating. Don't just stay secluded to your field alone. Branch out, meet people, talk with people, attend events, and you see that brings a lot of good to your life.
True. I also agree about the power of being social and being socially active. And you can do that online, face to face. There are different ways to actually make friends. You'll be shocked how there was one time I was traveling to Port Harcourt and I didn't have anyone to pick me up. Guess what? One of my friends from one of the events, or rather one of the groups or community groups I had belonged to, 2 or 3 months before then. So I just spoke to her and said, okay, babe, I'm coming to PHO. She's like, oh, awesome, that's fine. She's going to pick me up. Lo and behold, she came to the airport, she picked me up and took me to her place, and then before I went on to my hotel accommodation. So you see the power of friendships. It can really help you go very far in life. Anyway, I'm going to go on to the second point, which is my own point. Learn how to mint your own money. When I say learn how to mint your own money, I'm saying that, so as a young person, begin to think about how you can solve problems. So if, for instance, you're staying in an estate and people need a particular product or service, so your brain should be sparking, like you should be thinking about how do I solve this challenge? How should I bring forth that need? Like how should I resolve that particular problem that they are facing? It could be anything. It's going from, like I've seen people even open shops, I've seen people build apps just to like help people resolve a need. So begin to think in that aspect. It might not just happen all of a sudden, but if you begin to think that, okay, what's the problem around my society? What's the problem close to me? What's the problem online? How about business people? What do they need? What don't they have time for? For example, students, what do they need? You know, students, they need food. If you can cook, fine. Or you need perhaps you're working in an environment very close to maybe a working class environment that most times, you know, they're on break or they want snacks. So it can mean anything. But the general idea is that you should know how to mint your own money, because that's a very crucial time of your life in your 20s. And if you do that, the sky is your starting point.
Moving on to the next point, it's taking risk. So in your 20s, you need to take risk.
What kind of risk?
Literally, okay, I'll give you an example. So after I graduated uni, it was really that.
By the way, she graduated with distinction, so go ahead.
So after uni, I graduated uni ending of 2019, and 2020 came the lockdown and everything. So I didn't even start go NYSC doings because schools were shut down and I was home. And you know that feeling, you're done with school and you're just home. You're just sitting down, waking up, eating. There was really nothing going on at that point.
Yeah,
and one day,
towards to.
I had to think of it like, is this how I'm going to go on? So if I'm not doing my masters this year, am I just going to sit down in the house, waking up every day? It's time to put myself out there. It's time to, think of something to do and take that risk. And for someone that I live majority of my life as an introvert, so literally anything is a risk. Putting yourself, even talking to someone is a risk, because you start thinking, how would it go? What if the words don't really come out nice? What if I stutter and all that? So I figured, what do I do? What do I like doing? I love reading, and I think because of that, I love writing.
How many books again did you read this year? Sorry, last year. 20 books. Okay, go ahead.
So I love writing, and I figured, okay, I can write. That's something. So at first I thought academic writing, but it wasn't all that forthcoming because I realized my interest is not really into it. But I love reading novels, so I thought, why don't you write novels? But then you now think, how does it get published? Where do I write it? Who do I write it from? And so I went into all these freelance researching. What can people do? What apps? And that's when I came across Upwork. It was a risk because the people that I was providing services for, it's all wonderful. You really don't know that, although there are laws, but most people say Upwork favors the client rather than you. But putting myself out there, saying that these are the skills I can offer, if you want a write-up, I can do that for you. It was a risk I was taking, putting myself out like that, and it actually worked out really good for me. I remember my dad, he was actually talking to my mother, and I was there, and he was saying that he was actually very proud that I was making, not even in naira, I was making money in dolls, man.
I know.
Well, if I hadn't just woken up that day and saying, no, I can't just continue like this, waking up, sleeping, and all that, I had to take that risk, put yourself out there. So it's one of the things to do in your 20s. I know usually after school, we all want to go into our field of study, but sometimes life doesn't just work out that way. It doesn't come that way immediately. So it doesn't mean you just stay like that. You have to be useful to yourself and to those around you. So even if what you're waiting for is not there yet, you have to still do something. You not just stay there, take that risk. So that's stuff that you're scared. I know there are people that they know business, but they're scared to make the business because what if it doesn't work out? What if I don't have customers? We're living in an IT world though. There are ways to gain customers. There are ways to put yourself out there, put your market out there. Even TikTok. TikTok is no longer just play. Before there, people are selling on TikTok. People are doing it. So take that risk today. Think, ask yourself, what is that thing that I've been wanting to get into? What is that thing I'm wanting to do, but I'm too scared to do it, or I'm too worried about what will people say, what if it doesn't go well? Forget all of that and take that risk.
And just do it.
Do it.
I totally agree with what she's saying about taking risks. I remember just a year plus now, I took all that I have because I was like having like a banking, what's it called, with calorie rise. Yes, I was putting money aside for my trip. And I took everything and I'm like, I'm going abroad. And that's how I moved here. So that's a risk in itself. But for the fourth point, I want to talk about how it's very important to learn how to read, to learn how to speak, to learn how to convince people, right? Learn how to persuade people, because it's one thing to actually decide to start something. It's another thing to convince people to see that, okay, please, this is why I'm doing this and this is the result of what you would get. I know sometimes, but it also calls for a level of being multifaceted, because the 20s, that aspect, you have the time to yourself, like you have that freedom. So it's your time to come full force, like
Build yourself.
come full force, you know, try so many things, like just come out full force and you never can tell what might happen. At this point, we are going to say this is the end of it. We are going to bring it to an end because this video is already getting too long. So we'll make a part 2 of the video and release it by Friday. So I hope you learned from these 4 points we've mentioned.
So.
We have 6 more points upcoming, so please stay tuned, okay?